Okay, let's take a quick tour of the Lansing Community College Flexible Automation Training Work Cell. So what we're going to do is we're going to walk over to this robot here. This is a ABB robot, and we're going to call this Zone 20. So inside of Zone 20 here, you see this autonomous guided cart, and on the back of that autonomous guided cart right there is a stick laser scanner. So that usually drives around the track here, the magnetic track between cells, but right now we've got the unit paused. Okay, the light curtain says that it is ready to go, so there's usually audio and visual indicators indicating the status of the work cell, and if this cart was moving it would be beeping. We'll see if we can get it going in just a minute. The first thing you're going to notice about Zone 20 here is that it has a physical barrier around it. And that's the basic, most easily incorporated safety item would be a 6-foot fence at least around it. Like I said, there was the next thing would be to have some safety signs there indicating where you can go and where you can't go. This is transparent plexiglass here for a physical barrier, and then this is a fence here. This could be This could be a little darker. Maybe there was a welding operation or something going in there. Also, to keep this zone free, you see what they have is light curtains right here. Okay, so if I go through, you'll hear that sound that I'm talking about. I'm going to go ahead and put my hand through it there, and if you look up there, that's your indicator that there's a problem with the work cell because I tripped the safety gate. The interlock on the door here would also have tripped the safety lock. And so the interlock is, once again, the operation of one item controls the operation of another item. So all these safeties are interlocked together so that their operation is dependent on each other and on the operation of the cell. Over here I have a human machine interface, HMI, and you can see that I've got safety reset, and if I reset the safety there and hit continue, my light is back on and the cell's back running. Okay, each one of the cells here has a teach pendant, and the teach pendant allows for single point of control. Okay, on the back of the teach pendant you'll see there is a dead man switch over here that you would grab, and when you close that dead man switch there, that gives you single point of control and enables the robot. The teach pendant also has an e-stop on it, and there's plenty of e-stops around here. And there's a main control panel over there with a bunch of e-stops on it. So the e-stops are important to be able to bring this work cell down. There's a variety of other e-stops, such as pull cords here. Pulling this cord would also trip that sensor right there and bring down the work cell. Okay, so this is a chain conveyor here on this work cell. That's what's bringing parts around. And if we walk around here, we can get a little bit of a better look at the cell. Once again, there's an ABB robot, and what that has on it, if you look on the end of the arm right there, is a camera. And so this has a vision system that is just verifying that when it goes to pick up parts, that the parts are there and that they're going where they need to be. Here is a FANUC robot, and this is Zone 30. And so what this has is a standard parallel gripper on it, and this is moving parts, and it has some additional features related to the motor controls that this one is using. This one has a variable frequency drive driving the motor here. Okay, if I come over to this system here, once again I got my HMI, and Zone 40 needs an abort. So let's see if I can get this. This robot is the universal robot, and so this one seems to be faulted. So I'm going to recover. See if I can get that robot to recover. Might need a problem. Robot, there it goes. So the robot is recovering. And then I'll need to validate it. And I've got 6 parts on the left and right, and then 6 on the other one. So if I hit continue, It will want validation so that I don't crash the parts. And I had 6 and 6 and 6 and 1. And then if I hit validate, this robot will go back into action. And there's a vision system on the end of this one as well. And what this one is doing is it's taking a picture of the cart so that it can line everything up with the parts that it picks up, so it knows where it goes and sets them in exactly the right place. Okay? So then the robot's once again got a parallel gripper, and it's going to move the parts around. Now all the safeties on this, there's a lot of different safeties that we've talked about. Underneath here in the control panel, the PLC cabinet, I see red relays there. Those are safety relays. And then over here is a programmable logic controller, and then the network that is running this whole thing. So now this is once again is a big ABB robot, and what this has is a suction cup gripper on the end. So I've got a little bit of a issue here, and then if I come to zone 30, and it looks like it wants to go. Zone 35, sorry, zone 30. Equipment reset. Continue. Okay. And then the ABB will go in action with a vacuum gripper. Okay. So once again, variety of drives on this. There's my control cabinet. Okay. The students in the 111 class do a little project where they have to supposedly figure out the project to mount 4 more of these duplex outlets so that students can plug their laptops into the work cell here. That's what we're talking about there. And then finally, if I go over to zone 10 here, this is another little robot, another FANUC, and that also has a vision system and a suction gripper. And when this gets ready, the part will come from that line there, and it will bring the parts over here, and it will get dropped off. I guess the last thing we needed to talk about was the restricted space. This is the safeguarded space out here. I'm in the safeguarded space because I'm outside the physical barriers. When I go into here, I am now inside of this, which is probably not a good thing when the robot would be running. And so if I was in the back here behind the robot, I'm actually in the restricted space. This robot cannot move around and hit me because it's limited on joint 1. But what it can do is if it had something in the gripper that was big and it swung around, then it could hit me. Okay, so that is some of the difference between the safeguarded and the restricted space. But really, you would not want to be inside of this area here when the robot was running. Okay, so as I come out here, it trips the safety, and the lights go back to the way they were. So that was a quick tour of the flex cell